Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I just want to go ahead and jump straight into the charts. If you've been following this channel for the past month here, you've been killing the stock market. We called the top right there, called the bottom perfectly, and this is playing out just absolutely perfectly. It couldn't have been any better. These are just the best trades. You get a position right at support and it just skyrockets upward. Yesterday I posted on my Twitter, make sure you go follow me there, _bucket shop, for more live updates. But I posted a tweet talking about that this right here, this triangle could be an accumulation triangle, and I've said this multiple times. We kind of had the same thing here. We had a distribution triangle, and this is the 4-hour chart of futures, by the way. So we had this triangle form here, and then we broke down from it and we got this super powerful move. We actually came back down and retested this triangle. Let me just go back to an hourly time frame. I also have the 9 counts here because there is a few things I want to show you with these 9 counts. But if I just pull up the triangle once again, it was something like this, man. I'm not too sure, but as you can see, we came back, tested the triangle right there, boom. We came back, we broke out of it, had a major sell-off, and let me just turn on the 9 counts here so you can see that a little bit clearer. As you can see, we came down, we had a powerful sell-off here after breaking out of the distribution triangle, and then we came back and retested it once, twice, and a little third time there with earnings. I can't remember which company it was, maybe Microsoft, but before having the last leg down of the capitulation. So now we're getting the same thing. As you can see, we had another this time accumulation triangle around the lows, and we broke out and we didn't backtest it yet. So what I'm looking for here, if we do start pulling back on NASDAQ and on the S&P and on the markets here, would be for a head and shoulders to form. Why am I looking at this head and shoulders? Because basically this is a level of support that a lot of people are going to be looking at. I know I am. Down here, we also have the 200 period moving average in the hourly time frame of futures, which we do need to come and backtest to get another powerful rally off of. So that is another level that I am looking at. And then once again, we haven't really had a pullback here. We've been rising very hard. I mean, we're up above 5%, like over 5% from the lows. What is it? We're up almost 6%. So if you're a bear and you have leverage, you've been wiped out. If you're a bear and you have leverage and you had a position anywhere within this, anywhere here, you were wiped out. And it's actually funny to me because I saw a ton of people on Twitter once again posting all these updates talking about, yeah, this is a bear flag, blah blah. And I told you, yeah, maybe it is a triangle, maybe it is. If it's a triangle, we would have gone an A, B, C, D, E, and then we would have broken down to the downside here. But what I also tell you, I told you that triangles usually come before the last move in a trend. So if we had broken down to the downside from this triangle, I would have been looking for a bottom surrounding this area. I'd have been looking for a nice clean 5-wave push lower, but that's not what happened. You can see we broke to the upside. So this is another one of Jesse Livermore's accumulation triangles. The same pattern that I used to call this triangle up here. We got the same thing at the bottom here. So I'm watching this head and shoulders. This is my level of support here. I've drawn this little box. Let me just go ahead and get rid of this head and shoulders because it's taking up a lot of space. I have drawn this little black box, which is the support zone in my opinion. So if we end up coming back down to here, I'll be looking for a bounce surrounding these levels here for the NASDAQ, maybe around here or something. I'm not too sure exactly where, but this is the support zone that I'm looking for. And as always, if we do end up pulling back to here, I'll be watching to see, are we forming divergences on the time frames? The 15, the 5 to a certain degree, 5-minute chart, and the hourly time frame. Are we forming divergences as we pull back down to this level? Because if we start coming back down, you already know all the bears are going to be talking about, oh, I was right. There's this one guy on Twitter. I mean, he's just ridiculous, man. He makes me laugh so much. He's still bearish. He still has his bearish positions open. And I don't know how he's doing, but throughout all this, he's just getting crushed. So same thing. If we start pulling back here, it's going to give some confidence back to the bears. It's going to give them the confidence to say, okay, no, maybe I was right. Maybe it is still going down before getting a massive short squeeze, because this is only wave 1. Okay. Once we pull back over for wave 1 and when we get wave 3, that's when it's going to be massive. So be on the lookout for that. I do want to pull out these 9 counts here because it's pretty interesting what's going on. As you can see, we have this little head and shoulders level. We did break above that level. So now if we start pulling back here, and going to form the head and shoulders, to me, the pullback should be met with buy demand because we took this high right here. So it would make sense, as you can see on the 9 counts. The same thing that we used to call the bottom on the daily time frame, we're using it now on the hourly time frame here for futures. And I'm also going to show you the 4-hour chart. So as you can see, we had a first 9 count there. Nothing really happened. Okay. And now we're getting another 9 count here. So a 9-9 sell signal. And it will be perfected if we don't close above the bar from 4 bars ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe this hour we don't go below 14,798. But if we start closing down here, then I'll be looking for that to be a perfected 9 count sell signal here in the hourly time frame. And maybe that's going to give us our little pullback here. Where do we pull back to? I don't know. We do have the positions down here. Those are not being touched for now. We did take a little bit of profits to cover our stop losses, and just, so you can just, get some money. That's how you're successful. But so right now we are getting a 9 count sell signal, a perfected 9 count sell signal in the hourly chart of futures, and on the 4-hour chart as well for the NASDAQ US 100. If it wants to load, you'll be able to see that we are also getting another 9 count sell signal. Well, this is the 8 of the 9, so we should have 4 more hours here starting around well, it's going to be 7 p.m. for me, but basically today we could close the day with a 9 count, and then tomorrow maybe we sell off. Maybe we have a big sell off tomorrow. We are rallying up into the 20-day moving average, which is resistance right now. Let me just go into this time frame to show you. As you can see, we're rallying into the 20-day with a bearish realignment of a bearish alignment of the moving averages here, with the momentum still being bearish. Momentum hasn't changed yet. The trend is still bullish because the green line is above the black, but momentum is bearish for now. So we're rallying up very, very strongly. Maybe we get a pullback here into the 10 down there at 14,490 or so. Maybe we get a pullback into the support zone that I've drawn out here at 14,369. Or maybe we even get a pullback all the way back down to this level. Maybe we come and tag the 200 now. That's kind of crossing with the bear flag channel. We'll be looking at all of these things, but I believe that even if we break to a new low, I think that's going to be very, very short-lived, and I think it's going to be bought up super, super quickly. But I mean, right now, NASDAQ is continuing to rise. But as I said, I am looking for some sort of pullback to form here pretty soon. If we don't, then I'm totally fine with it. I'm long, so if we just keep going, I mean, I'm totally fine with it, and I'll just start taking profits. But right now, I think that it is possible that we start getting a pullback here sometime soon. Today, maybe tomorrow, maybe going into next week, we start getting a pullback. And I do want to show you this on the weekly chart as well. Look at the weekly chart. Right now, we're testing the 10-week moving average as we speak. So maybe that's what gives us the sell-off. But, this week we didn't go lower, and the 10-week moving average is sitting right around 14,300 for now. I mean, the 10-month. And we did bounce off the 10-month. I was talking to you about that for an extended period of time throughout the past month, and that is exactly what happened. But right now, maybe next week we get like a big sell-off to shake people off, and then we start rallying back again. A bar kind of like, if I was to show you what that looked like, kind of like one of these, where you can see you get a massive rally, and then during this week, you end up getting a higher low, but you do end up selling off pretty hard. So from the open of the week, we're down about 2.22%, and you can see those in multiple areas, like right here as well. So you can see we were down to almost 3% on the week before rallying up. Bottom to top there, that rally is another 7%. So it is interesting to watch what happens on NASDAQ. We've had a 5% rally this week, absolutely massive, almost 6% since the bottom. So we are getting overdue. We are a little bit overdue for a pullback here, but once again, 9 counts are forming. Right now, it is a perfected 9 count, so we'll be watching to see what happens with that. Let's go over and look at US 500, and it's the same thing. US 500, the S&P here, is getting back up to some sort of level of resistance that I have drawn, and it is forming a 9 count sell signal. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, that is another major level of resistance here for the S&P, and we are forming, again, a 9 count sell signal. So are we going to be able to just blow past this and just start, break out, retest, keep going? I think it's possible we get a pullback at these levels. I am going to take a look at the MACD with you, but same thing on the S&P here. You're rallying into the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart of futures, which is basically the hourly chart of the cash index. if I actually just show you that, if I just type in SPX, you can see the 4-hour chart. If I switch it over to the hourly time frame, what do we have? Boom, boom, boom. Get my calculations. Okay, hourly time frame is not at all what I thought it would be, but that's fine. You know, I prefer I prefer to look at US 100. I mean, at the futures anyway. I think they give us a little bit more information because they are open all day. So right now, US 100, US 500 getting 9-count sell signals on the charts after a massive rally up. So we'll be looking to see, do we get a higher low? If we do, then the next rally is going to be absolutely massive, and it's going to be the one that we should be looking for. US 10-year, the 10-year yield. Right now, let's see what's going on with the 10-year yield. Okay, so the 10-year yield down another 1.84%. We broke the 20-day moving average there on the 10-year, and today we're continuing lower. So we'll be looking at the 50. Maybe we start moving into some sort of a bottoming process. I mean, a topping process here where we bounce off the 50, come back up to this critical level, sell back off or something like that. Maybe form some sort of distribution. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but we do know that now the chart is, we're breaking under levels of support, and this is the area where you could say, okay, if the bulls don't step back in here for the US 10-year, maybe the peak was really in there, with the divergence on the MACD and all these things. I just want to get rid of this 9-count indicator right here because I want to pull up our trusty old MACD to show you guys these divergences. So as you can see, we have a bearish cross on the MACD. We got the divergence there on the 10-year, and now we're moving lower. So now the question is, do these bullish divergences that end up forming here, do these end up taking us even higher on the 10-year, or do we just start breaking this and start crossing into negative territory there, which would mean that we're breaking the 50 and holding below the 50 here on the US 10-year. If I go back to the NASDAQ, just to show you what's going on the MACD, we're getting a bullish cross for now. Okay, interesting. I'm sorry, excuse me about that. So we're getting a bullish cross. Let's see the hourly chart of futures, which is pretty interesting. Right now, getting a bearish divergence. Okay, we are getting a bearish divergence forming as the 9 counts are forming on the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart of futures. So once again, we could get a pullback at these levels. It is, I am pretty sure that we probably have the bottom in on NASDAQ. We could go back and test that level, that bottom level. But in my opinion, I mean, look at the S&P has rallied. I mean, look at that chart, man. This is the S&P 500. It looks like the NASDAQ. As you can see, once again, we formed the divergences below support there. As I told you, so many times, great length and detail. This is what you want to be looking for, the divergences to form under support. And now we started rallying. MACD for the US 500 here for the S&P does not have a bearish divergence for now. Okay, so nothing bearish about this chart for now. The trend is up on the hourly time frame. Momentum is up. Everything is up. Even the 15-minute chart here does not have any divergences. So maybe we pull back a little and we get a new high, or maybe go sideways here for a little bit before getting a little bit of a pullback. Who knows what's going to happen? What I tend to find is that there's some areas where the market is very clear to me. So for example, right here, when we start coming back down to support here, when we break below support and we form all these divergences, especially on the hourly time frame, to me it's clear what's going on. They're capitulating everybody out, and that is the area to buy. In my opinion, not financial advice. I'm just telling you the way I like to do things. But once that happens, after that, it kind of gets shaky. You start not really knowing what's going to go on. And usually you get a lot of fakes, a lot of divergences form, like this divergence that led to nothing. And, so it's just, you're going to get a ton of divergences on a ton of time frames all the time. You want to be looking for support and resistance because that is where the divergences really count. Okay. So once again, I mean, the S&P here has had a massive rally. Let's see how big the rally has been. So maybe we start pulling back right now for the S&P as I'm making this video, which would be pretty interesting. It would be pretty interesting in my opinion. But once again, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Make sure I make another video tomorrow talking about these levels. We'll see what happens to close the day here. And then tomorrow, of course. And moving into next week, it's going to be very interesting because if we end up closing on the highs here for the week, then we're probably going to get some sort of a big sell-off next week. to shake the weak hands out here, probably down to this level or something like that, before continuing back up. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed all the signals that we've been giving you here, from the top here all the way to the bottom, you know, the stuff that I've been teaching you here about, you know, looking for levels to form underneath support, the same way we did right here. Okay, that was another level, another trend line that we broke below here before getting the bottom right there. So if you love this kind of cutting edge information, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like to the video. It really helps me you know, make these videos. It lets me know that you actually do enjoy these videos and that you actually care. So without further ado, I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.